Have you ever pondered why happiness always appears to be just out of reach, no matter how hard we try to pursue it? Imagine having everything you could ever want, yet still feeling like there is something lacking when you wake up each day. This is not merely a contemporary problem. It is a riddle that people have been attempting to solve for thousands of years. We're delving deep into the reasons why the things we frequently pursue, fame, money, and adventure, might not hold the secret to long-term happiness today. Instead, we'll look at how Stoic philosophy, in particular, provides us time-tested methods for attaining true contentment in a world that is always trying to sell us the next great thing. You've come to the perfect spot to understand why, and more importantly, how to actually satiate that nagging need that no amount of success or shopping binges can scratch. If you value what we're doing here, a small favor I'll ask of you is to hit the subscribe button and watch every part of the movie. After all, if you're looking for solutions outside of the box, you're already unique, and every second of this journey is important. We frequently imagine it as a continuous state of happiness and contentment brought on by reaching our objectives or collecting new possessions. But how often do we reach that desired milestone only to find that the happiness we felt was fleeting, rapidly replaced with a new desire or a persistent sensation of emptiness? The Stoics, in example, challenged our very conceptions of what provides true happiness. So this phenomenon is not only a product of modern times, but has been seen and analyzed by thinkers for ages. The pursuit of professional success, for instance, is a common objective for many. We are motivated to work incredibly hard because we believe that achievement and recognition will bring us happiness, even at the expense of our personal health and family time. However, the anticipated happiness can occasionally turn into stress or burnout when we eventually reach the pinnacle of our working lives. Why does this occur? Stoicism explains that this is because we have tied our happiness to uncontrollably unpredictable external events. The Stoics thought that true happiness is found in establishing an inner resilience and virtue rather than in external achievements or possessions. They believed that we may find a more stable and long-lasting contentment by focusing on our inner character and our responses to the outside world. Stoics stressed against getting dependent on such externalities for our happiness, not that they were against success or pleasure. When we consider interpersonal connections, this wisdom is especially true. We frequently assume that our family, friends, and relationships will always be sources of happiness and support. However, every relationship experiences ups and downs. Miscommunications and disputes are unavoidable and can turn what we believe to be a source of tremendous happiness into a source of stress. Once more, Stoicism teaches us something important. We can control our reactions and modify our expectations, but we cannot change the actions or sentiments of others. Even our leisure pursuits, like trips, which we carefully arrange to get away from the demands and routines of daily life, can unintentionally turn into sources of stress. How many of us have been annoyed by airline delays, inclement weather, or just not feeling as at ease as we had hoped? The Stoic method would once more counsel us to focus on our internal condition rather than external events. It shows us that our level of happiness or distress can be greatly influenced by how well prepared we are mentally and emotionally to deal with unforeseen circumstances. Exploring these instances reveals that stress frequently follows happiness, not because our desires are incorrect or because we don't achieve what we want, but because our expectations of unrestricted, continuous happiness from external sources are irrational. The Stoic philosophy urges us to turn inward for stability and peace, reminding us that our ability to be happy is determined by our ability to preserve virtue and tranquility in the face of life's unavoidable ups and downs, not by our achievements or failures. This change in viewpoint may hold the key to redefining our distressing experiences as chances for deeper fulfillment and personal development. Things that give us pleasure are naturally more appealing to us than things that bring us misery. But what if I told you that, although appearing to be beneficial, this very impulse frequently leads us into traps? A trap where pleasure gets more elusive the more we pursue it. You never quite reach the horizon, no matter how quickly you run. It's like that. It's hardly a novel idea, mind you. Stoic thinkers from antiquity have much to say about this. They cautioned us against depending on fleeting pleasures for happiness. True happiness, in the eyes of Stoicism, cannot be found in external sources like material possessions, career success, or indulgence in the senses. These things are expendable, are they not? Happiness, on the other hand, stems from your own moral actions and inner resilience, which are considerably more stable and within your control. Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus focused more on cultivating virtue and preserving inner serenity than on pursuing pleasure. They believe that we may achieve true happiness by managing our responses to the world around us. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, stated that the quality of your thoughts determines the happiness of your life. This illustrates the Stoic idea that our internal perspective, rather than external circumstances, determines our well-being. Imagine yourself indulging in every kind of food you could possibly want from an opulent buffet. Obviously, the first response is to overindulge. However, if we give in to every want and eat anything we want, we will soon face pain and possibly even health problems. The Stoics compared this to other pleasures in life. While indulgence may provide a short-term high, it frequently leads to long-term issues if not handled properly. A crucial Stoic value, the concept of moderation, comes into play here. Let's take a deeper look at something more modern, like social networking. With likes, shares, and comments, it's meant to be pleasurable and give us small doses of dopamine. As many of us are aware, however, spending too much time on social media may turn into a source of unhappiness and anxiety. What was once a source of pleasure becomes a source of stress when we begin comparing ourselves to others. The Stoics would once more point out that we have let external factors, digital thumbs up and pixelated hearts, determine our happiness. Why is it crucial to spot this trap now? Because the first step towards avoiding it is to understand it. Stoicism helps us become more conscious of who we are and how to control our desires. We might begin to separate our happiness from it by recognizing the fleeting nature of pleasure. Yes, things can bring us delight, but we do so without turning into a dependent on them. Instead of focusing on the result, we learn to find delight in the journey and in the here and now. Stoicism encourages us to focus our energies on the things that genuinely improve our lives, such as relationships, personal development, and giving back to the community, rather than just asking us to exercise self-control for no good reason. Not only are these sources of fulfillment more reliable, but they are also primarily under our control. They are less prone to lead us into the trap of never feeling satisfied and always wanting more. Being mindful of the trap of pleasure-seeking is crucial. It's about striking a balance between wisdom and moderation and our pursuit of pleasure. By firmly rooted in Stoic principles, we may navigate the sea of desires without getting bogged down in the pursuit of fleeting pleasures and instead find a deeper, more profound kind of happiness. It's amazing how frequently we think that acquiring particular possessions or achievements will bring us enduring happiness. How often does this turn out to be true? We repeatedly find that the happiness these things offer is fleeting, and before long, we're looking forward to the next great thing. This cycle of hope and disappointment is a prime illustration of what psychologists refer to as unreliable happiness. Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Epictetus have long advised against depending on external events for our happiness. Therefore, the concept of unreliable happiness is not new. Seneca said, "If you seek tranquility, do less, or more accurately, do what's essential, what the logos of a social being requires, and in the requisite way, which brings a double satisfaction, to do less, better." This realization is profound because it changes the focus from the amount of experiences or possessions to the quality of one's actions and how they align with one's true nature. Epictetus stressed the importance of letting go of what we cannot control and focusing on what we can. The Stoic idea that our reactions to external circumstances, rather than the events themselves, Determine our happiness is highlighted by his famous quote, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." Understanding why happiness may be so unpredictable when it depends on external factors, which are frequently beyond of our control and hence prone to change, is crucial. The hedonic treadmill theory, which contends that despite significant life changes, people soon return to a comparatively stable level of happiness, is one contemporary psychology theory that supports this idea. After the first shock of a promotion, new purchase, or even a loss passes, our emotional states usually return to normal. This resilience means that while it aids in our recovery from adversity, it also means that the benefits we derive from new acquisitions or achievements are merely momentary increases in happiness. Advocating for a life based on virtue and internal fulfillment instead of external success and possession, the Stoics provide a route out of this cycle. They teach us to develop traits that will help us get through the highs and lows of life, like courage, temperance, and resilience. Instead of relying on the whims of fate or the market, this method of achieving happiness is reliable since it is based on our own actions and attitudes, which we can control. Engaging with the world from a Stoic viewpoint also means viewing every event, no matter how good or awful, as a chance to put these virtues into practice. For example, a financial windfall might test our ability to manage success with humility and wisdom, while a setback at work can be an opportunity to practice patience and resilience. Stoicism provides a compelling alternative to a world that frequently associates happiness with worldly success and sensual pleasure. Find joy in your own actions and character. By doing this, we can achieve a kind of happiness that is not only longer lasting, but also more profound because it is not influenced by the unpredictability of external events. The core truths about what it means to live a good life are aligned with this kind of happiness, making it not only more reliable, but also more fulfilling. It's easy to reach for the fast fix or instant enjoyment when we think about pleasure. But as we've seen, these kinds of pleasures can be fleeting and can leave us with a sense of emptiness or even the need for more. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics is useful. The Stoics taught us that not all pleasures are created equal, and that making conscious choices about the pleasures we pursue can lead to greater and more enduring satisfaction. Let's first think about the many kinds of pleasures. Sensual pleasure includes things like relishing a delectable meal or a warm, sunny day. There are also deeper, more cerebral pleasures, like engaging in meaningful discussion or reading a good book. The Stoics counseled us to focus on the pleasures that support our moral development and align with our beliefs rather than simply rejecting pleasure. Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius advocated moderation and alertness when enjoying pleasure, rather than letting it rule one's actions. Asking oneself, does this pleasure contribute to my well-being, is essential when selecting pleasures. Can I really benefit from it in the long run? Or is it just a fleeting pleasure? Pleasures that align with our long-term objectives and personal development are frequently more fulfilling. For instance, the pleasure you get from finishing a strenuous exercise session comes from more than just endorphins. It comes from knowing that you're improving your health and resilience. However, how do we arrive at these choices? Being self-aware is the first step. Beyond cultural expectations or irrational desires, it's crucial to understand what genuinely makes us happy. Here's where Stoicism offers a useful viewpoint. We can more successfully navigate the terrain of pleasure by focusing on our inner lives and fostering virtues like wisdom and self-control. Another Stoic philosopher, Seneca, wrote extensively about the importance of understanding pleasure with nature, or understanding what is inherently good for us as rational and social beings and acting appropriately. Additionally, selecting pleasures sensibly means being mindful of the possible outcomes of our choices. Repercussions can arise from every decision to pursue pleasure, some of which are more severe than others. Excessive leisure activities, for instance, could take away time that could be used for more important or fulfilling work. Reflection is a Stoic discipline that is beneficial in this situation. We can better understand our reasons for making the decisions we did and better prepare ourselves for future ones by thinking back on our day and the choices we made. It's beneficial to think about how our choices will affect other people when we're in the pursuit of pleasure. Stoicism teaches us the importance of community and how our actions are interconnected. Enhancing our own lives and furthering the common good can be achieved by selecting pleasures that either benefit others or do not hurt them. Finding balance is part of the art of selecting pleasure, recognizing that pleasure is a normal and significant part of life, but not the exclusive focus. It is possible to pursue pleasurable and enriching pleasures if we include Stoic ideas into our decision-making. We develop a life in this way that is not just pleasurable, but also meaningful and good, reflecting the finest of what it means to be human. As we proceed along our journeys, keep in mind that finding true happiness requires an internal journey rather than an external pursuit. I appreciate you being here on Stoic Journal today. Consider watching one of the recommended videos to go deeper into the wisdom of Stoicism if this chat spoke to you. We are grateful that you are a part of this kind community. Until the next time, look inside.